there's a big problem with what they're doing. Like,
Oh,
well, when they show their total buffs, like they are showing their total buffs for the armaments. That's not the
yeah,
problem, right? Those are just added buffs to what you already have, and they're not percentage increases on the current percentages that you already have with all your
that's what
talents.
I don't understand. I don't. You get me lost when you say that, and I don't. I know it's not. I get
So,
the formula,
yeah.
but I don't see why 3% isn't 3%.
Well, the 3% is 3%, but where it comes into play is that the 3% is added to your current buffs, whatever percentage that is.
So say you have a 3% cav attack buff. You're getting 3% of that 3% added.
Yes, but
You gotta be fucking kidding.
when you get those buffs, all right. So here, let me explain it this way. All right.
That's so
So
bad if that's the case. That's so bad.
like I said, I showed you the troop buffs. All right. So uh you look at your troop buffs, and you have like all these percentages for all these different values, like your infantry attack, your infantry defense, right? You have all those. So say you had a commander, all right? Day 1 of the game, level 1, no talent points put in at all. All this would say 0. Then you have armaments. If you were able to use the armaments at City Hall level 1, which I know that you can't, but this is just an example, you're going to get 3% for that armament. All right, that 3% would be huge when you have 0% increase. But right now, with the history of the game and all the percentage increases we get from commander buffs, equipment, your city skins. All right, so now 3% added to 200% is very, very small, right? So,
But isn't that the point though? Like it gives the whales or whoever, it gives whoever a minor leg up. I don't
see,
know.
you would think that, but there's a major flaw with that. And what that flaw is the RNGesus. So
Yeah.
you, even though you could spend more and more money as a whale and
Mm-hmm.
try to get these, there's still a cap on it, right? Because you could only do
Yeah.
that triumvirate package for 3 levels
3 times. Yeah.
each day, and you're guaranteed. The only thing that you're guaranteed on that bundle is that you will get wrecked. That's
Oh
all.
no, yeah. I started off like initially buying like maybe two for the first like 3 or 4 days, maybe about three the first day, and like every time I opened them, I was just like, wow, like I'm throwing my money at those for no fucking reason. Like it
And
would be like one stat for one troop type, one stat for another troop type, one stat for another, or it would be two siege and one decent stat for infantry. Like none of them were good
all right,
ever. I think the only good ones I have I got from traveling or from free shit.
traveling was where I got the lucky one. So
Yeah.
now when you think about like these purchases that you make in here, all right. So when they upgrade the equipment system, we got the geared up bundle, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then you come down to the supply depot, and we have the 7 day material supply. All right. So now on your super value bundles, all right, we when we got the museum, we got the Echoes of History.
Yeah.
Now on the supply depot page, we have the 7 day coin supply for that.
Yeah.
So right now, I don't see any reason to be even looking at that because I see that as a similar bundle right now to the Echoes of History when that first came out,
Yeah,
which means
which
we're
really they didn't tell us that they were going to do the free shit later or the pre KVK stuff. So
yeah.
I mean, I stacked up on it.
So yeah, that was not, but I didn't stack up on it. I didn't see a reason to because like
Well, I initially started to, so I did the math, and then when I did the math, and I was like, I'm literally getting 1% further a day than anybody else. Who cares?
so what I was talking about with Rise of Kingdoms the other day with the like that they're facing a difficult situation right now with the game from a business standpoint.
Mm,
And what that is like you want to be for this type of business, you want to be adding new and new stuff all the
mm,
time. All right, cuz you want to start keeping the old players engaged and bringing in new players at the same time. But right now they're at a point where they're facing what is too much stuff. The game's getting too cluttered, right? They're better off just sticking to what they were adding, which was like that game mode that we only got one time, where it was like power up KVK.
oh god, it was so bad.
Yeah, I know that was bad, but I'm just saying they should have stuck to stuff like that instead of.
They did. They're fucking recreating it for everybody and making everybody do it now, basically for every fucking KVK.
No, I understand. Like, but what I'm saying is like they're adding. So when you look at these bundles, and I'm just strictly going by like a whale standpoint here. All right.
Mm,
So when you go for these bundles, the ones that you're going to be buying are called the Ancients, um, Geared Up, New World, right? Because you're just going to be stocking passports as well, just cause But now, when the gear was revamped, it was worth it to buy that bundle because you were getting a huge increase on what you were putting into it, relativistically speaking, towards your current true percentages.
the
So
geared up one you were.
yeah, because when you were getting those new legendary pieces of gear that came out, and
Mm-hmm.
and then you were special talenting them, you were getting a lot of percentage increase,
Yeah.
right? So you were getting like 25% percentage increase, which at the time was about. I did not do the math on this, but just off at the top of my head, was about 10% relative increase to what you currently had. Where now you're getting the 0.016% relative
Mm-hmm.
increase. They can't add literally right now from Rise of Kingdoms. If they added anything else into the game to give us stat increases, it would be literally adding what's called nothing
Yeah.
because it
So
won't
you're saying
do
the
anything.
buffs are real, like they are giving buffs, but
Yes,
they're basically just they're not significant enough to be anything important.
yes, yes.
Hmm.
So now,
And you can look at a report and you can tell me and see it because I can't. I mean, even the dude that here that's a total fucking wham and thinks that he's fucking amazing. He's the one who scared Aura with one of those scout or that was spamming T1s at Aura.
I'm gonna share my screen right now. All right, and let me see.
Because he posted a report and he was like where's my skill damage is supposed to be taken. I see it on round 6, but
Okay,
that's only
look at this. All right,
uh,
that's the gear that's on my Mina for that report that I showed you.
yeah,
That's the gear right there.
yeah,
It can't get
the
much
ballistic,
worse for gear, right?
yeah.
All right, so now the armaments, right? I used 3.2% cav attack, 0.7% cav defense. Barbarian damage reduction was 7.2%, which was pretty high, right? And I had the pacifier inscription. So now let's look at something different here. And just think about that formula where the 3.2% was on top of the 199.5% cav attack, and that was a 0.016. All right.
Yeah.
So imagine you had 4 decent inscriptions on a set of gear like this. Using that formula, you are still going to end up adding maybe 1% at the high end with inscriptions on your armaments.
You said that it will end up on the high end?
No, on the high end. I'm
Oh.
saying like relative to what you had previously, it's only going to be 1% more stats on the high end.
Okay.
As opposed to that bad gear that I had on Minamoto, where it was 0.016%. So like a 0.016% increase on stats, that's next to nothing. Even a 1% on the high end, I still look at that as next to nothing. So like when you look at like something like this, right? So let's find sorry, that's all stuff that I was working on. All right, so like we look at this and we got our troop buffs. Oh, of course it won't load. All right, maybe I can find one here. Troop buffs. Nope, they're too old. Right, but like when you look at these armaments, all right. So you look at this, and let's look at the legendary ones. All right, so we're adding on this one 8.5% of stats. So 3.2% was 0.016. Right? So 8.5% is maybe a 0.04. Right? Times 4 would be 0.16.
Wait, go through that one more time.
All right, so the 3.2% stat increase was a relative percentage increase of 0.016. And I got that from dividing the 3.2 by the initial stat of the 199.5 on the report.
3.2. Wait.
So on the Mina report.
Click on fit again. Let me see that.
So on that Mina troop buffs that I sent you the other day, the one without the armaments was at the stats with that gear. The cav attack was at 199.5. So that was like.
Okay.
So we had 3.2%, and according to the relative formula, right, we would have 3.2 divided by 199.5, which would be 0.016. And that's already in percentage form.
So it's misleading then to say that it's or to say that you're getting a 3.1% increase or whatever. That has nothing to do with the number. Like you've got to do the math in order to actually figure out what the percentage is. Is that what you're saying?
No, you're getting a 3.2%. But what I'm saying is that the game at this moment in time, when they add something, the addition is getting smaller and smaller. All right, so like your value to invest in this stuff is getting lower and lower and lower. All right, because what I'm saying is, and let's use a round number like 200%. An extra 3% on 200 is nothing. you're going from 200 to 203%,
Yeah.
right? It's
And you
not,
said that, well, you can't really say that's nothing, can you? It is nothing, really.
it is nothing. Because most players are, oh, like, they'll get it like a epic armament with like 1.7, point 6, point 0.5, something like that, where they're only getting about 3% of stats total to put on their march. And most of the time, those are a mixed bag, where
Yeah.
only one or two of the stats are going to apply. And it'll be a while for players to get four legendary armaments with three stats for the same troop type, for the same formation, with inscriptions. So when you look at players, right, and you have people going out there with like 230% on a stat, all right, and then they're getting an inscription and they're adding 12% onto that. So you're going from 233 to 245. And I'm only saying like you get 3% health on this on armament 1, 3% on armament 2, 3% on armament 3, 3% on armament 4. So when you do the math, all right, if you had 233% and you add the 12, that's a 0.05% increase. That's all it is.
Oh, overall, I
Yeah,
get it.
yeah,
It's still that same percentage, but it's just so minor compared to your buff already.
yeah. It's just so small compared to your current buffs. It's almost like it's not even there. So basically, what they created here was smoke and mirrors, smoke and mirrors. You are
I mean,
perceived.
it's not. At the end of the day, if you think about it, it's not bad. I mean,
No, it's not bad. I mean, like I would not go nuts over this stuff.
yeah, no. I mean, it's. I don't think it's a game ender, except for the AP thing that you're talking about, which,
Yeah.
of course, that increased when you realized that you had to do.
So
That it cost more AP for the legendary quest or the whatever quest that. However you did the math, I forget. But
yeah,
I didn't even realize that it was taking more AP for that.
yeah. So for those epic quests, you're using 60 AP.
Yeah.
All right. Um, so if I the initial stuff with this state forum here, and you look at the info to upgrade, like everyone put out 16, and 16 is like not the level to be at all. There's I see like a couple different places to stop on this when you're upgrading. The first one for free to play is you just stop at level 10. It's not worth it for their gems are more valuable doing a Wheel of Fortune than upgrading this state form, right? Just upgrade to level 10, get your daily dispatches, and if you are going to upgrade this building, upgrade during more than gems and only keep going up to like the next daily dispatch chance. So during more than gems, you would upgrade from level 10 to level 12.
Yeah.
Maybe level 13. And then the next more than gems, see how far you could get towards working up to level 18 when you get another
Mm.
daily dispatch. And I think there's no reason to upgrade from uh, level 24 to level 25 for a 0.5% major dispatch chance bonus. Oh,
Yeah.
that's like ridiculous. Your gems are more valuable other places. They're even more
Yeah.
valuable to use in the courier station than on upgrading that building. You're not really getting anything.
Okay.
You're not getting anything from going from level 24 to level 25. Usually, like their standard model's been when you went from like 24 to 25, you double the percentage. So that's even lower than their standard model,
Hmm.
right? Because like when you look at your like your quarry here, right, and you went from 24 to 25, you went from 7,800 stone production per hour to 15,600. They're like getting cheap with this. And I don't understand that at all because it's all fake. It's an imaginary world. It's just a game. Like why are you getting cheap with your standard model? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I mean, this is the only
I
other
get it.
places as Crystal Mine that I have not seen something like that, where this has just been a flat increase over the last few levels. But even this isn't like a flat increase. It's like, hey, you get 0.5% at 16. Get wrecked, son, up until level 20. When you go from 20 to 21, where we're gonna give you another 0.5%. I just don't think people should be like investing in this.
Blowing money and freaking out. Yeah.
Yeah, and freaking out.
So what do you think about the AP part then? Is that really going to be substantial of a drain or no?
Well, so a lot of people, and I know you're one that does not agree with me on this.
No,
So,
I do.
well, no, I know you don't agree with me on what I'm about to say. All right,
Uh,
is people when they changed the AP gifts from barbarian forts. All right, people looked at it as a nerf, when in reality it's not a nerf. All right,
it is.
no, it's not,
But
not at all.
Tony did the math on it, and though he didn't track the rewards, he didn't have enough kingdoms to get involved with it for him to publish anything. But what he basically figured out was they went from using just their natural AP and doing what was it? Shit, let me look back at the conversation because he gave me the math he did, and he didn't include all the other rewards from the forts themselves. So he just included the AP and how many forts they could do in after AP, and when it stopped being beneficial on that end. Um, okay, so
It's always
he
beneficial.
said he said that which, and I'm gonna I mean I'll admit it, he said that he was ready to quit the game, but they talked him out of it. Okay.
I'm not gonna say that he's wrong. I'm just saying, like, I've been tracking this, and
He went from 60 bottles a day to around 40 bottles a day of 50 AP. And I think you took the 100 and just divided by 2. So 60 bottles of AP a day to around 40 AP a day. It depends on how active the alliance is, of course. But and then, of course, he broke down on the earlier one that what you get on returns for forts. Opening a crystal chest with 150 players, you would require 3 million over 9K equals 334 forts. 334 forts divided by 150 equals 2.2 per player. 2.2 to 3 per player. Or 300 to 450 AP, right? And he said that from that you get, the blue crystal chest if you're blue. 18 hours of speed ups. Each fort rewards each alliance member's
the
chest with the
crystal chests
possibility
don't
of
matter
being.
in this scenario. We're just talking about pure
Yeah,
AP,
yeah. So I mean, he dropped by a third.
which you might have players that are over a third.
No, I mean I think he set it up to where he like kind of that's his thing. Like he gets everybody on the same page that they all like when they're
So
doing an experiment like that,
I'll,
they go all in.
I'll pose it this way. All right. And of course, this is a small sample, but you know that I started doing this because I noticed something. All right.
Mm-hmm.
So, when before the cap, and I'm going to ask you this, and please be honest, before the cap, when you opened up an Alliance gift for a level 5 fort, how often did you get an AP bottle?
When I did Alliance, say again, when I opened in a gift from Alliance Forward, how often did I get one?
Yes.
It was 1/10. So I mean, I think it was one every 10 forts.
All right, because now I'm getting one 50% of the time. Get wrecked,
Are you
son.
getting all your natural AP on forts?
Yeah, just from a gift from the fort itself. Personal reward.
There's no way that it's gotten better because
It's gotten better. Look at this.
I don't think that's possible, man.
Look, these are all the forts that I ran in the last couple days. You seeing this?
I'm looking on pulling it up.
All right,
Okay.
let me start at the top again. You see all these forts? AP bottle, no AP bottle, no AP bottle, AP bottle, AP bottle, no AP
Which
bottle.
day of the week is this?
These are just from the last couple days right before Kerouac. That's when I started.
So you guys have been rallying forts all week before that?
I exclusively rally forts only outside of KVK. And for my barbarian rewards, I'll rally with Mina, YSG, with barbarians by the fort to get my 5 daily. I don't chain, I just run forts. Alright, and I'll be honest, most days I don't even use all my AP. But you see all these rewards?
Yeah, I mean it's.
You
I
see
guess
all
I
these
guess I don't
AP?
understand how that's possible. If they cap it,
It's
if they cap
capped
it,
from Alliance claimed gifts. It's not capped for.
oh,
You are ending up getting more AP this way than you were previously.
so you can the Lions AP return, you can get it, but you can continuously getting them through forts, doing it yourself.
Yes, personally through forts. So, like a fort like this, all right, this level 5 fort. So, I can't rally a little. All right, so you use your 140 AP to rally that fort. All right, that's 3 fort rallies, which is 75 AP that they aren't getting from personal rewards a day. Over, say, let's say 30 days in between KVKs if you do your 2 passes, right? So maybe 5 weeks, maybe 35 days. So 35 times 75, that's 2,625 AP that they're losing now
from the Lions stuff.
Yeah, just from the state forum. And then if you divide that by 50, that's 52 barbarian attacks in KVK that they lost.
Yeah.
Which are the best rewards. Well, Marauders are still number one. I watched the video. I watched a lot of videos on like what's better, Marauders or KVK Barbarians. It's still Marauders, hands down. I mean, it's close. It's Marauders, KV. The only reason why KVK Barbarians are better is because you get crystals that you could use for your crystal tech. But if you're trying to make a long-term investment, Marauders are better.
No way. Marauders are fucking horrible.
No, they're still better.
If you want to get a return on KVK, which is what matters,
No, I'm saying for personal rewards, um,
Oh yeah,
you get slightly more material, slightly more gems, slightly more speed ups. The only thing that KVK barbarians give you crystals, so that trumps it, you know. But even KVK barbarians, I you chain them. You throw your Richer out there with YSG. You try to find a nice group of them. Try to get like 10 of them at one clip. Boom,
I mean
right?
that's all I do. But I guess I don't understand how I end up going into KVKs with such a minimal amount of AP, and I don't like use. I may occasionally use AP bottles like in Home Kingdom, but it's rare, and I'm usually running fours.
Dude, there was like so there was a couple times in KVK where I actually was like popping bottles, man. Like I was VIP in the club, and like our KVK is about to end, and you see what I got left?
No,
Like I got up here on the screen here. Like I got 2,350 bottles, 1,400 100s, 41 1000s. I usually popped up 500s like in KVK first, so I
yeah,
don't really count those. But like all I do all day is I just throw Richer YSG out there. I don't end up popping that many bottles. You know,
oh
I'll pop them on Barbarian Day during MGE's 5 marching,
yeah.
right? But I mean, like I just think that what like if they add anything to the game, what I would do is, and I'd like to see this because it really comes down to player preference. So like you have like your equipment sets, and certain sets seem to buff different stat categories. I guess that's the way
Mm.
that you would put it. So like you have like health would be your 2 set bonus for one of the sets. You know what I'm saying? Just
Yeah,
add more. They were better off adding more equipment sets.
I agree.
Like this, like no one's happy with this game mode. All they like to do is make formation penises.
Yeah.
I mean that's all they like to do.
Asmodean loved it. He was like, "Yo, spread the word. That's actually pretty good because that's like 9 of them." I was like,
Well,
"Yeah."
it gave me an idea. You see my city layout?
Yeah, I did. I got a picture of it. I was gonna. I have most of them in my album actually.
So like I mean that's why I did it because of that stuff. I think it's crazy right now. Like the game just turned into people being like kids now, and
Oh,
well, I mean they're having fun. You know, they're having fun, right?
yeah.
I don't know. I just got upset because I had a guy from the enemy kingdom that was in our zone, and he was gonna march down and touch tips with me, and then we had one of the other enemy kingdoms march down and ruin my parade.
What do you mean?
He came. Yeah, I posted my chords where I was set up with my formation, and this dude marched down about 120 kilometers and was gonna attack me. I'm like, dude, you're killing me, man. I was doing this for the good of rock, and
Yeah.
that guy ruined it. Ruined it, man. I had it all set up. The other dude was like, I hope I can make it there alive. And I'm like, let him through. You see this guy coming, you let him through. And then the other dude from 1780 came down, and I watched him. I watched him march in the Lions chat. They're like, they tagged me and said, you got incoming. And I'm like, I know. This dude got me so mad. I was like, oh, I almost had it. The other guy was pretty close. It's wild.
Hmm. Well, then I really don't know what my overall opinion is on that. To be honest with you,
I also
on the
think
armaments and stuff. Like I
what
know, oh, don't spend your money on it, and everybody has equal chances, and
well
uh,
there was something I can't remember what it was. What were they changing that everyone was overly optimistic about? Was it the forts?
that were overly optimistic.
Yeah, like they were changing something and people were like, "Oh, it's going to be this, it's going to be this."
Overly optimistic. I have not heard anybody say anything overly optimistic.
Yeah, they
Have you?
no, it was like 3 4 months ago, maybe five. Right, they were changing something in the game, and people were like, "Oh, it's gonna be this, it's gonna be this," and they couldn't be farther from the truth. You know, it was basically that meme that you like to spread around that goes around through Rise of Kingdoms. Get fucked, Governor.
Yeah, yeah.
Right. That's what. So when they released a statement about being able to alter the armaments. Uh,
Oh, yeah, that thing. Yeah, yeah.
it's not going to be anything that people want to see. All it's going to be is like either. Uh, actually, this is all it's going to be. You're just going to be able to change what formation it's used for. That's all you're going to
No,
be able to do.
I think what they're gonna do is you're gonna be able to change the troop types for the buffs, or you'll be able to take an inscription on the line buff. I mean, a line formation, or whatever, and apply it to an arc buff or the other one, the skill one, the
You're
wedge.
not 100. I'm 100 on this. You are not going to be able to change the troop types that the buffs are for.
You don't think?
No way. In the history of
Why?
Rise of Kingdoms, when did they do anything that great for the players?
Oh, never.
So why are they going to do it now? I mean, at best, you could move the inscription from one to another, but you can't even do that with iconic. So I wouldn't be jacked up, like excited over that because they're not going to do that. You're going to be able to change formations that you could use these armaments for. That's going to be it. You know, sort of like you could put an archer set on a cav march, but you can't move an iconic from this piece of equipment, which would be like the equivalent of an inscription, to another piece of equipment at will. You can't do that. Like they're not gonna be that forgiving with this. You know,
Hmm.
so like basically in politics, when you make a mistake, do you go back and change it? Usually, you just end up running with it, and they're just gonna end up running with it.
Oh, they're around with it. It's the same thing they said in that customer service response, where they basically told them, if you don't like our updates, then
First of all,
you're
first of
literally
all,
going
I'm
to.
gonna stop you right there, because that is not customer service. When you're
No,
talking to someone that works for Lilith, and the person talking to them also works for Lilith, that is not customer service, bro.
oh, oh, you mean you're just saying it's shit, basically?
Yeah, yeah. You have one person from Lilith talking to another person from Lilith. That is not customer service,
What do you mean one person from
dude.
Lilith?
Well, so
I thought that was wasn't that what's his name? Whiskey?
no, no. There was a dev feedback, right?
Yeah.
That I posted like a video on. All right, so let's go to the Rise of Kingdoms Discord here. All right, you know I love this. I love this Discord page. In-game suggestions.
I don't know how many people look at it though, do you?
Um, there lots of people look at this. Not a lot of people post or interact with this, but there's tons of people that look at this. But I'm saying like you get dev feedbacks. In those dev feedbacks, 90% of it has nothing to do with anything that anyone's posted in here or said. They're straight what you call fucking bullshit, bro. Right? So you'll get like I don't know. So here's the face to face, right, that I went over. But usually, like, you'll get like those ones where they're like, WhatsApp us, and what's your experience with WhatsApping them? Like these ones. Hi, Governor. Your support of Rise of Kingdoms and your views
Like,
about the game are very important to
like
us.
I think everybody, even like Venom, like came here, like, is anybody else having issues didn't respond. So I know they got taken over by different, like they outsourced it, and since they've outsourced it, like their response time is nothing. And by
Yeah.
the time they do respond, they assume you've gotten over it.
So, you know what
Now,
outsourcing
there,
says to
I
me?
said, do what?
You know what outsourcing says to me? That you have no
We don't
shot.
care. We're checked out.
They checked out. They're gonna do.
Well, check this out. Check this out on Asbo in the Discord, which I keep referring to just because it's good. But let me see. Hold on. All right. If you can go to his 100% guide, can you see this or no?
I gotta go back to ours and bring this up here. All right, so I'm watching your stream now.
You can see it.
Well, it's loading, but yeah, I'll be able to see it. So just give it a second here. It's
He's
loading.
talking about refunds on dead troops, resources, and speed ups in KVK when you crash, right?
Yeah.
So Lilith, Lilith VIP has a default response of blaming your devices or internet connection speed on stuff when your game crashes and you end up losing troops. And he said, he's given suggestions because this is how a couple people have been able to actually get a return. Screenshots of any being disconnected or your game freezing. Blame the issue. They might try to blame the issue on game graphics. So he gave an example of how to respond to it, which was we couldn't coordinate rallies or because of the lag or the freezing, and when the game froze, I couldn't log in. The enemy attacked and killed me, and it cost me this much money. I did the simple graphics function and everything above, and he said just keep pushing back. Which
what tab is this in?
Is in his 100% guide, and it's all the way towards the bottom, right after they finish some formation stuff. And this player, I guess, got 1.5 million dead troops returned to him. 1.5 million returned to him, close to 10 days of speed ups, and refunded most of the resources from the hospital bill. That's pretty freaking good. Like, to me, that says that they're not gonna try to give you shit like easily. Like, you just have to fight for it, like an insurance company.
Well, I learned something from watching Chisgle's stream, and Ward Daddy Chad was talking.
Yeah.
And he's like, this isn't the mountain that I want to die on. And what he was talking about was, like, they'll give you stuff, but make sure it's worth it before you ask, because you're probably not going to get it again. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's true. What do you mean? Like, they're only going to give you a favor once?
Yeah, your favors that you get from them are going to be very few and far between. It's basically get wrecked, get wrecked. Like the lag issue, and especially with what Chisgle actually had a good theory on this. It has nothing to do with your connection. It's all on their servers. So like,
oh yeah, it is.
When you go into Ark of Osiris, all right, and you try to spectate it, limits it because their server can't handle that many people in the same place at one time.
Yeah.
So
like 1307.
Yeah. So when you're in those big KVKs, and you have all these other people watching and it's already laggy, you're just sort of like, if you don't like a kingdom, all right, and let's just pick out a random number. Like say you don't like Kingdom 1069. You just go out there and tell everyone you know, just start spectating that KVK, and everyone will just start lagging out because there'll be too many people in the server. And
Yeah.
they do cap this stuff, because I don't know if you ever try to watch one of those big KVKs like in game, but it'll sometimes you'll get a message like too many people spectating. Doors closed. You're not getting in. Just get bounced at the door trying to get in the club, right?
Yeah. Well, and the other thing is, what was I gonna say? Oh shit, what was I gonna say? It was same regards to that, but the reporting, because when they report people, if they get enough reports on somebody, they automatically mute them, right?
Yeah.
Uh, like in a short amount of time. So like if you got a kingdom that you want to take like one of their main strategy people or their king or something, and being muted definitely causes issues. Like when you're trying to coordinate a battle or whatever,
Yeah.
they say to spam report him or whatever. Just report anything he says and keep doing it, and then they'll mute him. It's automatic, until they're back on at least. So if you're in a war or something, you've got a main guy that's leading it on the enemy side or whatever. Like just fucking report him.
I mean,
Yeah.
the bottom line is this game should be 18 plus for a couple of reasons, right? Number one, you got no shot in this game unless you could spend maybe like a few dollars a month on it. Whether it be gem supply or something, and most kids can't afford that. Second of all, it's just your player base, right? So when you look at these streamers on here, I think the youngest one that I saw that streams Rise of Kingdoms is 12 PvP-ness. 12-inch PvP-ness.
Oh yeah, I've seen him. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's like the youngest one. He's over 18. Like, I don't see any young kids streaming this.
Nah.
You know,
No, it's not a kid. I mean, it's not a kids based game. The kids don't have that kind of money.
yeah, yeah. I mean, like, I think they just need to start working back towards like the glory days. There's some stuff that they could do here. They want to release new KVKs, right? Um, it's a rough area. What some of my ideas are, like they'll either go over without a hitch, or they no one will like them at all. But I mean, I I think a lot of people get trapped in this game because you go through the early game and you make connections and you sort of build like a little family inside the game. And the way the game's set up, you're kind of locked in. It's not easy to move around in this game. So
Mm-hmm.
like it's hard to get that initial experience back again. Like you should have like an option um to start over, but sort of like keep all your stuff.
Start over and keep all your stuff.
Yeah, so like how they lock, like if you went back to KVK2 and they lock your commanders, right? There should be like your all your epics, like your commanders like that. Just have those ones
Yeah.
reset. All your SOC commanders um just get locked into place, and you could go through and your city hall gets reset, and you could go through the early game again, right?
Oh, that's not.
I mean that would be fun to me. I mean, a lot of players here are like, you see like all these posts about like jumper groups. Hey, we're looking for like who wants to go through a jumper group when you've already invested all this time into this
Yeah.
account? Why would you want to start a new one? I'm saying there should be some kind of
Oh,
hybrid lock system where you take all your commanders that you can't use until like season 3 on, right? So like everyone that was released after Attila Takeda and after, they all get locked with
mhm.
their with all that stuff, right? And all your gear gets locked, and you have to craft new ones, right? And then you could go through the early game again.
Mm.
It's sort of like a hybrid
Yeah.
reset. So all your equipment, commanders, right? After Attila Takeda get reset, and all the ones before them are just reset to like level 1, no star level, no skill level.
Yeah.
That way you could go through the early game again. Have that experience. Like I mean, I think early game in this is one of the best times of the game, right? Cuz
Yeah.
you're actually trying to use a lot of strategy. You're like, "Oh, like I need a you have 1,000 alliances popping up and you need to figure out who you need to ally with, who needs to merge, like who's going to get this shrine, who's going to get this sanctum. It's so much fun, like the early game. Once you get to SOC and you're not in KVK, it's like blah. And they keep releasing these game modes, like COO, right? And I kind of like what they did with boat game, because like boat game isn't around that often, but when it's around, like people go nuts, man. Like people love boat game. It's so much fun, right? But like
Yeah.
COO is out every week, and people are just like blah. Golden Kingdom, no one likes Golden Kingdom, and I'll tell you what, I don't even do Golden Kingdom. I know I should do Golden Kingdom, but I don't even do it. Uh, I mean,
I'm
like,
in the minority, but I actually like it.
I just think it takes too much time. I'm pretty much like a weekend warrior. Like I work a lot
Then you
during.
don't do Muslim Kingdom?
Yeah, I don't. I don't.
The best there is.
Um, and here's my Champions of Olympia daily or my activity points, and I gotta do this today. 0. Right.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm more concerned with, right. My constraint is resources. Like I think about like players that I asked to come join me here. I try to get a stockpile of resources going from. And you see my resources right now. I got like nothing, right? But I try to stockpile resources with all my farms so that these people could get going when they arrive. Because this kingdom we fight a lot. Like even though we haven't won the last 2 KVKs, fighting is brutal
Hmm.
here. You use billions and billions of resources, so I want to make sure that players that come here and join me are set up for success, right? So I spend most of my time going through all my farms and making sure that they're out there gathering all the time so that the players that I have come join me can be successful, right? But
Yeah.
Kinky knows I'm like that. I'm a weirdo like that, right? I'm a weirdo like that. I'm always like, how much resources you got? How much you got? And then you get people that think I'm asking because I want some, and it's not because I want something. It's because I want to give some to the right people, the people that need them the most, right? And I don't believe in banks. I much
Yeah.
rather transfer it direct because you're going to get double taxed. Because if you send it to the bank and then the bank has to send it to them, it's getting taxed again. So I rather send direct. So my contributions to the bank aren't that much. But like when you look at um my mini here, Michelin Man, right? Like I don't like since I've been here, I've been transferring the resources to me from this one. So like when you go into my more info and the resources gathered is 9 billion, but I gave out 13 billion. I probably gave 4 billion of those to my main account. The other 9 billion went to other people. So like all my farms are like that where I'm giving out like Besordi came, I gave him billions, right? So now I got Oda, an anonymous player coming, and I'll do the same for them, right? But that's what I do.
Yeah.
Like I make sure that they're going, right? And since I logged in,
Farmers you have?
how many farms do I have? Right now,
Yeah.
so I have Michelin, Spunky, Conspicuous, Main Squeeze, Boom. I think it's 11. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8,
I guess.
9 farms. 9 farms in my main. And then the ones that I have in the waiting, like uh I just have this one, but I like to keep that in 1828 if I ever want to pop in there and talk in KC. That one I haven't been building up. The last one that I
Yeah.
made was Mini Marshmallow, and I'm still building that up. It's not up to level 21 or 22 yet, so I don't really classify that as a farm yet, because like
Yeah.
it's not prepared to start sending out resources. It's just the taxes too much, and that's not really what I want to do. Like I'd rather get it up to a certain tech point before I start using it as a farm. Um, and
Yeah.
most of them I do something like this, like so like what I'll do with my farms is like all my gathering commanders, Joan of Arc, Cleo, Matilda, Queen Tamar, all the gathering commanders. I try to get them up to level 37 as quick as possible so that they get the resource gathering speed boost for all resource types. And then when I can,
Yeah.
I upgrade them to 40 so that the siege march speed is quicker because most of them are going to be grouped up together. So by the time I get to the last one, the marching distance is going to be crazy long to find a level 5 node or something like that because most farm alliances you'll end up being in zone 1. So like your
Mm-hmm.
good nodes are far between. So
Yeah.
what I do is like I just focus on that, right? So I tried first like mini marshmallow right now. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I work on constants first, right, with my expedition tokens, and then once once constants is expertise or maxed out. So like you have your expedition shop here. I
Yeah.
don't get Ethel flatheads. When I refresh this,
Why?
all I do because their expedition rewards, right, aren't that great. So they're getting like maybe maximum like 800 tokens a day. So in the shop, I'm this resource oriented where I'm using my tokens on resources solely in the expedition shop. Occasionally, I'll buy like a gold star or something to try to get Cleo or Siondeck upgrade it, but I mean a lot of them like I'm just when I do get a lot of heads, I'll buy an Ethelflad sculpture from time to time, right? But I'm not really like spending working that much on expedition where I'm trying to get to the next level, get a few more tokens. So most of them are only pulling in like maybe like I said 800 expedition tokens a day. So like if I get like a big resource token in there. Like a 500,000 food is costing 750 tokens, and if I get 3 resource token purchase options, I'm ending up with negative credits for the day in the expedition shop.
Mm.
So, and like I said, I'll put it in perspective. All right, um, so my Crusader achievements, you can't see my total kills, right? But you can see, like right here, like I got over 15 million there. Like I got the 30 million kill achievement, and I started KVK with 1.3 billion wood or food. I started with 1.7 billion wood, 1.1 billion stone, and 1.4 billion gold. And I was popping tokens by the time I hit Kingsland. Right? And you're talking max tech too.
Yeah.
Right? So, I mean, like everything I do in the game is resource oriented. So, right now, I'm actually kind of pumped up for armaments, because like my farms are getting resource load boosts and gold gathering speed boosts, left and right. Like, I'm like, yeah, let's go. Let's go. So, like, you even have like players like Emperor Whiskey. First of all, the dude's freaking amazing, you know, but he's like, coming from these garbage kingdoms, and I swear some players don't understand how garbage some of these kingdoms are. There he is, Rel in a fort, right? He's like, yo, I got 5 farms. I need more. I need more, right? So I mean, like our kingdoms kind of got it together, So like if I went in here and like actually looked at the map here, we kind of got boned last 2 KVKs, like the lower right camp that we were allied with never got out of zone 4, so we were in Kingsland for 2-3 days fighting 2v1 against more powerful kingdoms, so it was like a struggle. And then like the KVK before, our strongest ally after Pass 6 opened in Strife of the 8 just said, hey, we're going back to home kingdom. They just packed it in and left.
Yeah.
But now it's going to be good because we have a great migration in. So now like we've been running 2 main alliances and 1 support alliance. Now we're going to have 3 main, 10 billion alliances. So now,
So much power.
well, I mean, when you look at like, because you saw some of the stuff that we were doing, right? Where we were holding off 2 war camps for forever. It was like 2 weeks we held off 2 war camps, and we were pushing another one back in the other zone. In that Strife KVK. Now I fully expect us to be able to win those situations now. Like with the players that we got coming in our prior performance, like we're looking damn good, And if not, I mean, like by that time Rock will probably have like some kind of new system coming out that everyone's talking about, and it might be time for everyone just to pack it up. I see a lot of strange things going on, right? And I don't know if you noticed this, but a certain streamer of Rise of Kingdoms that everyone knows seemed to be streaming a space game the other day. Like, what's going on here? Like something shady's going on here, right?
Losing interest.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I get it.
Interesting.
What do you think, War Crimes? Oh, I got a visitor.
Warcraft. Is he not paying attention? He's muted.
Oh,
I mean,
this what?
What do you think's going on here?
just not focused on
Oh,
something as
well, I think the game is going to shit.
you think what?
Bad, bad.
Oh,
Like
you think it's in the state?
what? It used to be good. Like KVK 2-3 SOC made the Crystal Pig made it worse. I think they wanted to solve the problem with the long rallies and everyone has building troops and has to storm each flag to make it go down. But with the Crystal Pig, they managed to make more money and solve that problem. Now this the gear, okay, fine. Now the formation system is changing everything. Like now, I just earlier saw people swarming a rally with the towers, not like
Well,
conventional
they
way.
were trying to not to save the city, but the city was getting rallied, so they set up like 60 or 70 towers, but it only did like it didn't do much damage, did it?
Still the damage.
Or did
But but it changes the gameplay. It does change the gameplay. Like you can set a bunch of towers behind the path and just like lock on the rally. Everyone's shooting at the rally. Think about that.
Yeah, and you can't do anything about it unless you have the pass.
Yeah, yeah.
cross the path, don't they?
No, now the only way to take down a pass triple rally or double rally.
Yeah.
But don't those things cross over passes? Or am I wrong?
What?
I don't know. I don't have experience with it. Does it shoot over passes? I don't think it does.
Yeah.
I think if you have the pass and the enemy is rallying it, trying to take it, your towers will hit them. But I don't think the people trying to take the pass, they set up towers, it won't hit the enemies unless they come through the pass.
No, but I think it hits the rally over the pass, doesn't it?
Yeah, but like if
Yeah, yeah.
if you're trying to like if you don't have the pass and you set up towers and you're trying to kill marches on the other side, it won't work that way. It's like a one-sided mechanism. You know what I'm saying? Like, so you have a side that has the pass, all right, and they set up towers, and the enemy is rallying the pass. Your towers will hit them, but the enemy rallying the pass, if they set up towers, it will not hit those marches on the other side. It's a one-sided mechanism.
Oh, so okay, so if you own the pass, then they work and cross.
Yeah. And
Okay.
I think there's some weird scenarios in the game where stuff like that. Yeah, you ever see like the rivers on the maps? So like
Oh
certain
yeah.
like in certain areas, like you see like dirt, and you think you could cross through it, but you end up having to march like a year around.
Oh,
If you have Alliance territory on that, you could walk through there. Like if you got a flag over there, in certain spots, not all of them, but in certain ones, you could end up crossing where that dirt is if you have a flag there.
yeah.
It's so weird. Like I don't agree with those towers, man.
Those were never good though. Man, you remember how much we hated those things?
Yeah. Yeah, but you also saw in RKVK when we had those what happened to them, you know? Like they just went
They got.
yeah, they got murdered. But I mean like
Mm-hmm.
these ones are different. Those were the siege towers. You know, from what I saw from these, they don't take counterattack. Number one, so if you're rallying a city with Attila Takeda, which is not swarmable, right? Or Pakal Herald, which is not swarmable, and you set up all these towers that are just chipping away at it and not losing any strength, like that's kind of messed up, man.
Yeah.
That's kind of messed up. I I think we'll all just be sticking around the chat soon. It'll all be automated.
That's what Warcraft.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure that's what Warcraft.
be sticking around for war crimes.
Yep. Stay around for making chats. Keep the game up. Well, that's.
I'm listening to you guys, but